lost my mom when I was 14. I was very scared because I felt like I didn't have answers that I needed when I found out I was pregnant because I didn't know who to call. So when I got the pregnancy test and it came out positive, before I even laid it down on the table, I freaked out.
We were living in a very expensive house, making a lot of money. We were both working at a gentleman's club. Cameron was working as a DJ, and I was working as a dancer. I walked to First Coast Women's Services. They did a test for me there, and they did confirm that I was pregnant. Then I walked back that night, knowing that I was pregnant and knowing I had a really big decision to make, because I didn't feel like we were at a point in our lives where we were ready for that.
When I was in Jacksonville, that's when I met Thomas. He could just sense something was different. I don't know if I wasn't sleeping as good or, not feeling as well. And he said, I think you need to take a pregnancy test, honey.
I've been with the father of my child for 3 years. When I finally had told him that I was pregnant, he was so excited. He was like screaming and hollering, just so excited on the other end of the phone. And I'm like, wait, like, why do you feel that way? And I'm bawling my eyes out, like, why do I feel scared? And you're just so over the moon right now. But Casey, he said, like, if you get rid of it, get rid of me. And so that was also a big thing to me, that I wasn't in it alone, like as scary as it felt and things like that. He did it. He wanted it. All he's ever wanted was us to have a child together.
I've never been morally okay with it, but it's different when you're the person in that position. He ended up losing his job out of nowhere.
We kind of had a moment of, well, what are we going to do next? We're in a very small space, sometimes it's too small for the two of us. That's about the time I pulled out my phone and started looking up, what kind of services there are in the area.
I waited and walked and paced around the house for a long time. And then finally I started calling around to clinics. Nobody would help me. Like, nobody would answer. Like, when they did answer, they were very rude. They wouldn't get me in. I finally got on the phone with Amy. I believe her name was Amy. And it felt like I was going to jump off of a cliff, but she talked me right off of it. And by the end of the phone call, I was laying on my couch, happy, not scared. I mean, I was still scared, but I wasn't too scared like I was. And she had redirected my heart and my mind that this is not the end of the world, beginning of my new world.
As soon as we opened the door, we were both welcomed so warmly with open arms. We were able to hear the baby's heartbeat and, estimate the due date and everything. So that's when we started to get really excited.
We started going to the Earn While You Learn classes. We loved going to those together. My favorite was seeing what week we were on with the little fetus in the video, seeing how big he was getting, and I was so excited.
While I was there, I worked with a man named Neil. There are so many parallels between the two of our stories that, we kind of hit it off pretty well. We're able to sit down, have conversations with me, make sure that I'm on track for what I need to be doing as a dad. If we had gone in there with nothing, we had gone there with nothing, and we came out with, something for just about every day of the week for him. A high chair. Had we needed one, we could have gotten a crib.
I have the baby. I'm not working anymore. We lost our house. It was the most peaceful time of my life. God was talking to me through everything. That was the beginning of my journey of trusting God, because I've never really trusted him for real.
We would go home after these meetings and talk with each other. We would just feel so encouraged and refreshed after, a 45-minute conversation with mentors we just met. How better would we feel if we went to an hour service every week and sang together and praised together? We got engaged after finding out we were pregnant. We got married shortly after.
Reaffirming our relationship with Christ, it really brought a lot of community support to us.
Cameron came home from his job and he said, "Hey, I got some news." And I'm like, "What?" He said, it was a friend of his, a coworker, told him that God told him to give us $3,000 to move into a house. When we moved into our house, it was like a full, fresh, clean slate. And we're like, well, we have to follow God now. We have to find somewhere to go to church. Our church was doing a new members class, so we went to that. We got plugged in. We felt like God was telling us that we should get married.
I didn't know how to make a bottle. I don't know how to do any of these things that were running through my head at the time. But First Coast Women's Services have changed all of that. I feel very confident in becoming a mother.
I couldn't think of how to manage this or what to expect without the support of my family or the support of my community at church.
I couldn't imagine life any other way right now. Very thankful.
I couldn't imagine making that decision today. Every single kick, and then like any intermission, like where he doesn't kick, I'm like, hello, like I'm like tapping on my stomach trying to get his attention. Casey says I annoy him, but I need to know that he's awake or he's moving around in there. I'm so excited to have a child of my own, a child of God, a child to bring up and be one of his one day.
We lost everything to bring us to a place of surrender back to him, and then he gave it all back to us, plus some.